So I'm presenting here today with my co-founder, Rick Stewart, and we'll be presenting both. So Matt, if you could give him access per accent. Right, Rick, floor is yours.
Okay, I assume everyone can hear me. Hi, everybody. We're PhoenixCarbon. We are a disruptive composites recycler, and we enable a viable circular economy for these materials. And in particular, we focus on carbon fibers. So we'll discuss that later on. I'm a CEO. I'm a serial entrepreneur with multiple exits across aerospace, software, e-commerce, to name a few. And also with me today, Luca, who's our genius CTO. He's a very experienced engineer, even though his youthful looks might belie that, across aerospace and automotive as well. So composites are interesting. They're around us a lot. They are particularly suited to mobility, transport for obvious reasons. They're very light, they're very strong, but they have a kind of dirty secret. They are not sustainable and they are very, very expensive. So a huge amount of carbon fiber waste goes into landfill every year, takes with it a lot of embodied CO2, and it also takes with it a lot of sunk cash. We want to reverse that. The problem at the moment is that the current recyclers degrade the composite materials to such an extent that their uses are constrained. That means that there's very little value for them, and there's even less value for the end user. So why do our customers care? If you look at automotive, 95% of the car in the EU needs to be sustainable, but at the same time, they need to lightweight cars, especially with EVs. So that's a bit of a mismatch. If you look at the energy sectors, glass fiber, composite turbine blades are all at end of life now. They can't go into landfill. France and Germany have banned that. The rest of the EU will follow. So there needs to be a solution to break those down. If you look at marine clients, there's a lot of carbon fiber high-end yachts made. They all use very, very high specification materials, but they need that sustainable green credentials that go with it. And if you look at across most sectors, there's a growing pressure, there's a growing legislation, there's a fear even that sustainability is going to hit their bottom line. Luca.
So how do we solve this problem? We've developed our own lean, low-cost recycling process that is able to remove the thermoset polymer out of the composite without damaging the fiber itself. So what that means is we're able to remove the coffee stain out of your silk jacket without damaging the jacket. We filed one patent. There are 3 more in the pipeline to protect our technology. And being a lean process, we save 87% of CO2 compared to virgin carbon fiber. Critical to our process is that we don't affect the material properties, which has never been achieved in the industry before. So we deliver a composite circular economy to the industry. And we do all of that while being 50% cheaper compared to virgin carbon fiber. The CO2 savings are very, very significant because carbon fiber is a very energy intense process. So by 2032, we will save 12.7 million tons of CO2, which will then raise to 90 million in 2050. We have lengthy discussions with our customers, and we have identified a raw material which we'll provide to them, which no one in the industry has provided, and which will be the same quality as virgin. In this instance, we're not going to be able to share what it is, but please contact us for more information. Regarding securing feedstock, we've talked extensively to suppliers in the European Union, and we've secured enough feedstock for our growth phases. And speaking with our customers, we have developed a future IP pipeline that will cover all of our customers' needs for the future. Let's talk about market size, Rick.
Yeah, so this market size is
30-second warning, just so you know.
By any standards, thank you. 88 billion. We're focusing on carbon fiber. And in the EU market, that comes down to around about 1.6 billion, still considerable when you consider our gross margins are 70%. So that's the kind of market traction we've got at the moment. Automotive, large companies, small, aerospace, and marine. Those are our beachheads. Next slide, please. Some quotes. Basically, hey, they need it now. They need a solution. They need a green solution for carbon fiber.
And time is up. You want to share just quickly what you're raising and what your ask is?
Yeah, sure. We need to raise around about 2 million to build a pilot plant. And then we're good. Thank you very much.
Well, there we go. Fast and efficient with rounding it out. Thank you, Rick and Luca, for sharing everything. Let's bring Alex and Fabian back, and we can have a little roundabout on PhoenixCarbon. Do you guys have any questions to kick things off, Alex or Fabian?
Sure. I can go first. Really interesting technology. In fact, I've looked a little bit into the carbon fiber market myself, because I do know how carbon intensive it is and how much we need it in the future, especially with wind power going online and lighter and lighter automotives that we need to build. Maybe on the technology side, what is the technology actually do? Do you kind of re-liquefy the resins that are built on the carbon fiber, and then you have the end product is the carbon fiber, and then you can use it again to make new carbon fiber materials? Or how can I imagine this?
That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. So we are able to get the woven out of a composite without damaging the twill of the woven.
And then you sell, and then the business model is basically to sell the woven carbon fiber as a recycled carbon fiber, probably even at a premium, I assume, right?
As a commodity, yeah.
As a commodity, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. There is a potential premium because it's green. It's been recycled and can continue to be recycled. But there are various different business models depending on who we deal with, what we take from them and what they take from us. So we're not necessarily an alternative landfill, put it that way.
Yeah. And can you work with any kind of resin that's currently in the market? Is there any actually a difference?
Luca.
So we've tested many resins, including bioresins, and our process works with all of them. Yeah.
Cool. And maybe last question on technology, and how do you do quality assurance? Because I know how fragile this material is, being a mountain biker myself.
True. Okay, so during the manufacturing process, before we ship it to our customers, we are able to test fiber before it goes out. So especially for some markets where they need data for each batch, that's going to be incredibly valuable. So that's one way. And the second way is we control the feedstock that's coming in. And then by controlling the feedstock, then different kind of feedstock will have then different material specification, which will answer different customer requirements. So the way that we do it is by controlling the feedstock and by having a check at the end of the manufacturing.
Okay, maybe one last question. Sorry, Fabian, for stealing.
No worries. Go ahead.
How do you deal when there's like colored materials, when you have, for example, rotor plates of wind turbines, which I assume is a good feedstock for you because it's just so big, but usually is white colored. You have to get rid of that stuff first, right? Before you can probably start your process. And how is that affecting your economics?
Correct. So we've identified a specific feedstock that is widely available out there that does not have any of those problems, but I don't want to share any of these details in this public forum. So I'll be more than happy to answer deeply this question in a private conversation.
Alrighty. Thank you, Luca.
No worries. Thank you.
Cool. And in terms of, I know especially from the automotive and aerospace industry, it's very regulated when it comes to the materials they use.
True.
Like how long are how do you work with that? And then how does that affect your sales cycles and go to market before you can scale this up?
Rick, do you want to touch on this?
Sure. It's interesting that you asked this. We were in Hamburg all last week at a very well-known large aerospace show, where it's pretty clear that aviation's got to move to a much higher penetration level of composites. And yes, there are certification processes that do give a lead time, but they're a lot shorter than they used to be. And essentially are impact testing and flame testing. Carbon fiber's already been through that process. This is not a new material. And as long as the specification of each particular batch or each particular run and whatever it's designed into still conforms to the original specifications, then there is no barrier to entry as such. It's not considered to be a new material.
Okay.
So flame test, we know that carbon fiber does pass flame test because you just use phenolic resins, so they're fire retardant, and we can deal with that anyway in a circular economy recycling anyway.
Cool. No, it's very favorable that you're classified as a carbon fiber straight from the get-go. In terms of the capital need to scale up, you're raising now 2 million to build your pilot plant. How much
approximately,
to produce?
That gives us a 24-month runway and potentially gets us to around about a throughput of 50 tons, which is tiny, really, compared to what we need to get to. But we will scale with demand, and we'll do so under a controlled way. We're not going to sort of build it big and then try and fill it. So we're very modular on a 25 ton by 25 ton basis. We can break even between the 25 and 50 tons.
Cool. And in terms of, you said that you are working with a specific supply that you don't want to disclose today, but do you see any threat of others trying to work with a similar supply, and that you will then get supply constrained and like a more competitive position?
I think with any circular economies where you start to produce value in something that ordinarily wasn't seen as valuable, it was just a recycling waste byproduct, you are going to see some macroeconomics kick in. So once someone realizes that they can make money from something that ordinarily they're just happy to give away and save the landfill fee, we're going to see some movement on that. But I don't see that ever becoming an issue when our margins are so wide. And to some extent, when we look at the competitor as it stands right now, I'd be quite happy for us to pay for some feedstock, because if someone's selling their product at £5 a kilo and we can sell it at 40 to 50 pounds a kilo, then clearly we kind of price people out because we can afford it.
Why become a producer as opposed to licensing the technology? Couldn't you scale something like this much larger and faster?
Yeah, the thing about white labeling is one, we kind of abdicate our responsibility a little bit, really, and two, you're solving a problem with a solution, but in some ways the solution becomes a problem because you're giving it back to the person who had the problem in the first place, and you're saying, okay, here's how you do it, but you go and do it. And we thought about that, and we decided, no, we own it, the whole thing. We would be the solution provider.
In fact, I've actually chatted with somebody that decided, would it be okay for us to put a container-sized recycling thing at your site? And they were like, absolutely not.
But that's because they're not making money, and you guys would be doing it. But for them to be doing, I mean, if you guys start
even with some revenue sharing,
if you guys start a fishing company, you're not going to catch more fish than if you teach people to start fishing companies. You're gonna
but fishing is very easy.
Okay, that may be.
And on the scale up again and the capital need, what would it? How much capital do you need to be a 100 million revenue company?
Well, out of the blocks, so 2 million gets us, as I said, to 50 tons per year. We wanted to get to around about 500 tons for the UK unit alone. And at 500 tons, we're around about 20 million ARR. But the EBIT is very high, around about over 50%.
Cool.
So, hence, if you want to get to 200, do the maths.
Yeah. Maybe last question on supply constraint. Do you given that you work with one specific type of carbon, do you have any estimates on how much is out there and how big you can become with that?
We do, and it's
a huge amount. An embarrassingly large amount, actually.
Huge amount.
That actually goes into landfill.
So, Rick was talking about 5,500 tons. There's 62,000 tons of carbon fiber waste in the world. That's carbon fiber, not composite. About a third of that it's in Europe, so 20,000 tons. So there's 20,000 tons in Europe, and we want to recycle 500. So yeah, it's plenty.